Donnie and Dolly, the team. There are a number of things that we had learned from this show earlier this morning, from Rick Dhaliwal himself to their guest Elliotte Friedman. And I wanted to give a big shout out over to Canucks News Summaries, who summarized a lot of these talking points. It gives us some fodder to dive into on this Tuesday afternoon. This is what Dolly goes out there and talks about in regards to the latest Canucks trade talk. Starting out with Elias Pettersson. Teams around the NHL think that a change of scenery will benefit him. They are looking into acquiring him, but they question if the price would be worth it. Teams are inquiring, however. As of Monday, teams have not contacted his agent about waiving his no-move clause. Some teams don't think he will waive his no-move clause during the season. Discussions have not been serious enough to talk to his agent, and it is just a feeling out process at this point. So this, of course, is quite interesting because it contrasts pretty heavily to what Frank Seravalli said on not only his own show, but he said so on Canucks Central and Sportsnet 590 The Fan on Monday morning about how an Elias Pettersson trade could actually happen sooner than we think. Frank Seravalli said on all three of those programs that Pettersson was the name to watch, and he insinuated that a trade could be happening before the Olympics happen next month. So, Pettersson, name your price. Name whatever it is where you want to go, and name whether or not you'll be able to waive that trade protection. Of course, Pettersson is just one name on the Vancouver Canucks. There are multiple others, as talked about by Elliotte Friedman. He had a hit on the Donnie and Dolly show. Elliotte Friedman on what the Canucks are getting the most calls on in a trade. Some calls on Pettersson. No doubt calls on Myers and Hronek, Garland, O'Connor, I presume Blueger when he gets healthy. Now, of course, that's a long list. A lot of guys going out there and getting discussed and brought up by Elliotte Friedman. Top reply says, hey, he has no idea. Okay, I mean, you can probably say because there's a pretty big disorganized list of names that there isn't really too much clarity on what's going on. But if he's going out there and saying Myers, Hronek, Garland, O'Connor, Blueger, those are other trade chips, I guess, the Vancouver Canucks have that can be flipped for some draft picks or prospects. But Canucks News Summaries also went out there and summarized the Friedman hit. Big shout out to them. They are amazing. Starting out with Quinn Hughes. Now, this is what we had talked about in yesterday's commentary as well. Quinn's comments about Vancouver being a worse team than Minnesota. Friedman was the one who asked the question that Hughes answered, but Hughes misunderstood the question. Friedman was trying to have Hughes answer on how he has changed his style since switching teams. But Hughes straight up took a little bit of time to think about it, and then he was like, yeah, well, this is just a better team. Like, you know that. I mean, such an uncalled for answer from a guy that was the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, and I understand that his desire was always to win, and he knows that everything that he wanted, he can probably get in Minnesota. He would not have been able to get that in Vancouver, but still, it stings, right? Friedman then spoke about the next Canucks trade. Sherwood was always the next one to be traded, as he got sent over to San Jose 2 days ago. There's a lot of talk about Elias Pettersson, but they haven't given any indication that he's willing to waive as of yesterday. But wait a minute, excuse me, Sherwood was traded yesterday, not 2 days ago. My days are really blending together quickly, aren't they? Hughes and Sherwood's agents were involved in both of the trades. Everyone knows the Canucks are open for business. The Canucks are definitely willing to talk about their players with trade protection, but they won't go to the player until they get an offer that they like. There have been some calls on Pettersson, and Friedman has no doubt they're getting calls on Myers, Garland, and O'Connor. Teams have asked about Filip Hronek, and Friedge says here at the bottom that the Canucks would like to trade Teddy Blueger, but he has to play in games. Now, obviously, I don't really think it's like, oh, they want to ship him out, they don't like him anymore. It's like, no, they see that he has value, and they know that he brought pretty interesting elements to the Canucks' bottom six, but the fact that he's not able to play really reduces the ability of the Canucks to get something meaningful in a trade for him. In regards to the San Jose Sharks, acquiring Sherwood is a reward to the team for being within the playoff race. At this point, the Sharks are not prepared to pay Sherwood 5/5, but they have lots of time to work out an extension. Now, rumor has it the Vancouver Canucks did try to extend Kiefer Sherwood one more time before trading him, which does check out with the pattern of what we have seen the Canucks and this specific management do over the years. They tried to extend Bo Horvat. They didn't, and then they traded him. They tried to extend Tyler Mott. They didn't, and then they traded him. They tried to extend Sherwood too, maybe with a contract that was pretty beefy, $4 million, something like that, but he was like, nah, I'm worth more. So now he's in San Jose, 2 seconds coming over to Vancouver. I'd say it's a pretty decent return, not the best in the world, but it's fine. And the Vancouver Canucks are looking to potentially make some more trades on either a Pettersson or a Bluger or an O'Connor or whomever else. For what it's worth, this is also what Dhaliwal said on Donnie and Dolly this morning. The Canucks want to keep some veterans. He hasn't heard that Myers would be willing to waive his no-move clause. They need to keep some of the veterans so you're not blown out every single game. Now, counterpoint to that, the Canucks are still losing every single game, so it's not really working out all too well for them. In regards to Thatcher Demko, he is still being evaluated 11 days after being injured. Was told they were going to take their time and look at everything. They haven't made the decision to shut him down just yet. And Dhaliwal also wonders if Demko is seeing Thomas Mueller's German doctor. Apparently, he has had other hockey players come to him before, and he's a soft tissue specialist. In regards to Canucks injuries, Dhaliwal mentions how Chris Tanev was misdiagnosed multiple times, and how Tanner Pearson was pointed out as another who had problems with the medical staff. So, Thatcher Demko, they're still evaluating him. It's been almost 2 weeks since he was injured, and I'm ready to pull the plug on the experiment that was Thatcher Demko on this short-term contract. He is just not healthy, and he's probably never going to be healthy enough to sustain a full-time starter's load in the National Hockey League. At least that's what it feels like at this point. It's so unfortunate because we know the talent that he has, the talent that he is on the ice. He was nominated for a Vezina, and I honestly would argue that he would have won if he just stayed healthy and he was able to not go up against Connor Hellebuyck every single year. What a crappy scenario. Connor Hellebuyck has a dud of a season, and Thatcher Demko has a dud of a year health-wise, and he's not able to take control of that race heading into award season and whatever. Thatcher Demko, man, we love this guy, but now he's making a lot of money, and he's not really healthy, so I don't know how I feel about it anymore. It's not like the Canucks can just immediately decide that he's gone. They're trading him, I don't know how many other teams would be interested in him considering that track record, but either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these conversations here? Elliotte Friedman'S Canucks trade update. Pettersson, Myers, Garland, O'Connor. Lots to dive into here from Donnie and Dolly. Shout out to Canucks News Summaries. We really appreciate the work that you do. I hope you enjoyed this. For the Shash Roll 9, and bye.